This video is brought to you by Miniature Market. Thousands of board games, miniatures, and paints, discount prices at miniaturemarket.com. Hey everybody, we are painting Batman Gotham City Chronicles. This has been a joy. You saw us do the Scarecrow first, a figure that not everybody's doing, and then I decided to take a very hard figure. And you wouldn't think he'd be that hard, but the Man-Bat is a real pain in the neck. But we're going to show you how to go through it and get it done as quickly as possible with as much ease as you can. He's very flimsy on the base, so you may want to think about another base for him. You'll see it in the video. Hopefully it comes through okay. Listen, I'm talking too much. Let's go down to the table and just start painting this guy, and then we'll come back. Now today we're going to be painting the Man-Bat. Now in the comics you see him two different ways. He's gray or he's dark brown. But the way I kind of like him is I like the gray version better, because when you're going through the wings and adding some of the things that you want to add, it just sits better, I think. So all I'm going to do here is I'm very lightly, and I'm not worried about going over the pants or anything like that. I just want to take this very dark, and I'm using a Skaven Blight Dinge, and all I want to do is just kind of go over and get everything here, and I'm going to do it very lightly. I don't want to lose the black that I have underneath. This model here for is a little flimsy, to be honest with you. The plastic is a little softer than I would like to work with, and forgive me if my hand is getting in the way, but I really want to try to hold this creature in here a bit. And I actually switched hands, which I normally don't do, because you all know that I'm left-handed. So I'm going to take a little bit more off here, and what I'm doing is I'm getting some on my brush, and then I am taking it off my brush as much as I can. And you can see it's a really dark gray that I'm using. And that's all I want to do. I'm not worried about getting in his mouth or anything, because we're going to have to go over all this anyways. Right now, all I want to do is just hit all the main parts of this bat. And really, I want to get that gray on there. Nice and light. Into the grooves there. And I want it to sit there for a bit, because we're gonna bring this out. We're gonna darken everything up. As you can see, it's pretty dark with the black there, and I'm just taking, and you can see there's some really nice detail here that you can pull out if you can just hold on to this guy and get a really good grip. I want to make sure that I get the back of his legs and all that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to continue. I'm going to finish this up, and then we're going to come back and we're going to keep on working on the Man-Bat. Now with the Man-Bat, like I said, you know, there's a couple of different ways you can do this. But as you can see, I'm taking a celestial gray, a very light gray, and I'm just coming in between the wings, and all I want to do is just have these wings kind of stand out a little bit, and I'm just very lightly working the brush in between the wings here, and you'll see why very shortly. And I want this to kind of break in there pretty heavily, and I'm going to come in here and really work on the wings itself, because I want the wings to really, but I want to keep that divide there. And there's a reason for this, and you'll see as we go, and just really lightening up just the wings. I don't want to get the membrane here as much, but I just want to kind of work inside the wings and lighten them up, just like they were in a cartoon that I had seen of him. Now this figure himself is very loosely on this base, so it moves quite a bit. So you want to make sure that you really have a good grip on this while you're doing this. So I'm going to finish this up, and you'll see exactly where I'm getting at. But one of our biggest things that are going to be a contention here is actually painting the wings themselves, and I'll show you how we're going to do that and how that's really going to sit up and really bring this Man-Bat out. We're not worried about his pants yet or anything else. Right now we're just going to concentrate on getting the main flesh done, and we'll move on. So I'm going to finish this and then we will come back. Next, what I want to do is I want to take a Longbeard Gray, which I'm going to use here. And what I'm going to do is, it's a dry brush, and you want to make sure it's a good amount of it's off your brush, and you just want to, I want to work all the parts. And you can tell, you know, this model is just too flexible, and I just want to work his feet and his legs, and kind of work that gray in over the top on his arms. I don't know if this will hit the focal point all right because of how I have to do this, because you got to hold the base almost, because the actual figure is so flimsy on here. And this is something that I've read online that people have been complaining about, but again, very nice figures, and they'll paint up just fine. So all I want to do is just work that in there. I'm going to go in and work the rest of it, and you're going to see right now it just looks like a gray mess, but when we start adding things, it's going to come together, and you'll see exactly what we're going for here. Okay, the next part I want to do, you got to be very, very careful with. So I'm going to use a smaller brush, and we're going to take an Agrath Earthshade. Remember, I said I seen him gray, but I seen him with a lot of gray and brownish tints in some of the comic books. So what we're going to try to do is recreate some of that. The wings we're going to leave alone, and you'll see why. And what we're going to do is we're just going to come right over all that gray that we built in here, especially into his face here. We want to really kind of work that in a little bit. Don't want to hit the wings. Come on, leave the wings alone. So we're going to work right in here. I'm not worried about his pants again, because we're gonna come with a total offshoot color with that. And all we want to do is just kind of work in this brown and how it's gonna sit up as his body part. And right in here, you see how that just sits in there now nicely, and we just work that around, and we want to come across on his arms. And this is where we got to be really, really careful too, is that membrane that I keep on talking about. And you want to just kind of just give it a nice little touch there. There we go. And then right in the middle here. That way we just have that little line of separation between each wing. And across down here. Remember, it's there for you. You can pull out the detail. There's no doubt about it. See how that just sits up now? Now it makes a little more sense what I was trying to do. And we're going to do the same thing with his hand here and come across. And, you know, this will dry very nicely. And we'll just have a really in-depth, nice line here because of the wash. And it doesn't take much to do. It really doesn't. You just got to take your time and work it in there. And that's exactly what we're looking for right now. I'm going to finish this up, and then we're going to come back once this guy dries, and I'll show you some of the next steps that we're going to do for the Man-Bat. The hardest part of this model is painting the veins on the wings, and there's a lot of them, and you're not going to be able to get them all, but you want to get at least a good effect. So you're just going to have to get a very small brush and really and I have to hold this up here so you guys can see what I'm doing here. And you're just going to want to take your time and just get those pieces on the wing. Now, you don't have to do this, but you know, if you look at the comic book, if you look at the card, he has them. They really stand out. And I'm using a pink horror here to just kind of connect this. Now, this could be mind-numbing, but I think if you just stick with it, the payoff is really fantastic. So I'm going to finish the rest of this, and it's going to take me a bit, but we'll come back and I'll show you what we're going to do next. Also, I want to show you that you want to take a little bit of that pink horror and run it in the mouth and in the ears. As you see, I'm starting on the back. I try to do it one wing at a time so you don't lose your complete mind. Sometimes I'll switch into the back side here, or sometimes I'll just do on the top. That way it kind of breaks it up a little bit. But ultimately, we're going to try to do all these wings here, and then we'll go to the next step of painting our good friend, the Man-Bat. Okay, after this quite a treacherous, and I do mean treacherous, painting these wings in, as you can see, took quite a bit, but hey, we got it done. Now, we're going to do his pants real quick, and that's just going to be a blue that we're going to go over, but I'm using a very not a light blue, but it's a Calendar sky blue. And what we're going to do is replicate his jeans here, and don't want to hit any of that skin, so we're just going to take our time and go through here and come around the back. Again, we don't want to hit these wings that we worked so hard on. You know, these pants are important, but not as important as those wings that we just worked on. And as I'm turning this around, you're getting to see pretty much the detail that we had to go through. It took me about 45 minutes, I would say, just going over and over. But I had set the base there, and that's what made it easy to do. Got through it pretty much. So if you think this pants here is going to stay this bright blue, no, we're going to actually darken those up too. So I'm going to finish painting the pants, and then we're going to come back with what we're going to do next. What we want to do is, now that we got those pants put on pretty good, he's got a shirt here that is, you know, kind of ripped off and everything like that, and I kind of want to, yeah, exactly, get that shirt hanging off him a little bit, because it's like he transformed into the shirt there, and he's ripping out of the nice white shirt. It's probably a very expensive shirt, but you know, that's the kind, you know, if you're a Man-Bat, let me tell you something, and you're going to be changing all the time, listen, do not buy expensive shirts, because you just don't know when it's going to go wrong for you. Alright, so there's part of the shirt there, and then we got another part here, which we're going to take care of, and that's right in there we go, and that's kind of coming off there. And we're going to darken this shirt up because I'm sure it's all dirty and stuff like that. But most important thing is that we just get it on there first, right? Like so. And then we'll worry about tearing it off. Alright, next thing we're going to do is we're going to let that dry, and then we're going to come right back. That's for sure. Alright. We put a little Ushabi bone onto his feet and his teeth. We're taking some Agrath Earthshade now, and all we're doing is just moving it around in his ears and his mouth to give a little bit of depth. And that never hurts, does it? There we go. A little shade. Never hurt at all. Now that we got that done, the last couple things that the last thing that we really need to do, and I'm just going to take just a hair bit more Agrath Earthshade and get it up in his ear. This base I just painted gray for now, because he's going to actually come off this base. This base is not very, you can see it's not very stable, and I have those nice micro art bases that I think will work a lot better. But we will show you that in another video for sure. Next, I'm going to take some Newell oil, and this is where we're going to finish off the model. And all we're going to do is get a good amount of Newell oil on our brush, of course off camera. We don't want to do anything to mess everything up. And all I want to do is just go over this shirt and just give that shirt some depth, because if it just sits there white, it's just going to look really, really bad. And now all of a sudden that's going to come out. And then the other thing that we want to Newell oil is right in here, his pants. I mean, they're all torn up, so they can't be that clean, you know what I mean? And we're just going to come in here and just do that a bit. I'm going to turn him a little bit on this side. I could throw a little on his leg there to throw a little bit of shade in there. There we go. And I hope this is going to be a lot clearer, as I drew some lines here so I wouldn't go over. And that's going to dry really nice in there. And it's going to give just that little bit more depth for our kind of like vampire bat. Well, you know, it's a man bat, you know. And there we go. So I'm going to let this dry, and then we'll take a final shot of it. And after I take the final shot, we'll send it up top, and that'll be that for the man bat. Which, well, we'll talk more about it up top. As you can see, this was not an easy figure. And it's one of the harder figures because of those wings. And those wings really, really do a number on you for sure. And but fun once you get them going. Sorry for the blurry part. And really just comes out to be a really nice figure, and one that you will like in your collection. So, without further ado, let's send it on top and get on out of here for me and Mr. Manbat. Well, there you go. There you have it. Here he is. Those wings are a pain in the neck. It's going to take you some time, but the payoff is worth it. Now listen, you don't have to do them. If you saw how I dry brushed and I had the gray over it, and then because of the black, you can use that to kind of stick out these veins in the wings. But painting it really does come out pretty good, as you saw. So I think, you know, that's just one of those things that you're gonna have to do. Now I'm gonna take them off a base and put them on a different base, but we're gonna save that for our basing video towards the end. We've got quite a few figures to go. I've been mowing through them pretty good, and you're gonna see a bunch of videos on Batman Chronicles. So again, for your old pal Rob, until next time, we will see you soon.